I wanted to ask you about this specific story. Meghan Markle urged to learn from Carolyn Bessette-Kennedy's press struggles. You've covered this JFK documentary from CNN on your show at great length. I'm almost offended by a lot. God, you and I love Tina Brown, but I'm
Hmm.
almost offended by Tina Brown comparing the two within this documentary. Did
Hmm.
you have the same thought when you saw that moment when you were watching? And do you have any reaction to anybody trying to compare Carolyn Bessette Kennedy to Meghan Markle? And also, give me your thoughts on Carolyn before we go there so that I have a better, like if you say, yeah, they are similar, is it because you don't like Carolyn or is it, do you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think, I wrote about Carolyn a lot in Ask Not, and I spoke to friends of hers who have never spoken before. And what they gave me was a very nuanced, interesting, complicated depiction of a woman who, despite the line that the legacy media toes, and Tina Brown's doing it like a servant in this documentary, saying, oh, Carolyn just didn't know what she was getting into. Carolyn knew exactly what she was getting into. She pursued this guy like she was SEAL Team 6 and he was bin Laden. Okay. She wanted all of it. And then what happened is she got behind closed doors and she really saw what it was like. The public facing version, Camelot, the fairy tale, the most eligible bachelor in the world. You get behind the scenes, it's grimy, it's grubby, it's seamy. And she married a guy who, unlike her, wasn't very bright, wasn't very engaged with the culture, wasn't very interesting, and had everything handed to him. So what she basically got was a sanded down beta male. That is the only thing Meghan has in common with Carolyn. That and the fixation on Diana. Carolyn thought that she was the second coming of Diana and that she was going to meet a similar end. And even JFK Jr. was like, you're out of your mind. You're
Wow.
nothing like Diana. And we know that Meghan, thanks to so much of your own reporting, your direct sourcing, also believes that she is the second coming of Meghan Markle. I've heard much the same from people who would know. Sorry, Meghan Markle believes she's the second coming of Diana. But that's it. That's really it.
Yeah. She says, as we've seen with Meghan and Harry, there was quite a lot about Carolyn that was a bit Meghan-ish. Brown compared the two women who one who married into America's Camelot, the other Britain's royalty, that Carolyn had wanted in for all these reasons. There was glamour and elegance, but that came with so much pressure in terms of the monster of the media that she fell apart really. In your book, I did get the sense, ask not, that JFK Jr. I think he felt for her a little bit when it came to her, how uncomfortable she was with the media attention. But he almost towards the end was not as sympathetic as I felt like he should have been. Or maybe she wasn't strong enough. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of the two. She would say to him more than once when he couldn't understand why she just couldn't get with the program and be a perfect Kennedy wife. She would say, I didn't get the effing employee handbook.
Yeah.
And even John's friends who knew the deal in being friends with John Kennedy was that he did whatever he wanted. He was as thoughtless and entitled and spoiled as as he could be, and you just went along with it because that was the cost of doing business. Carolyn was a very media savvy person when she entered this marriage. She worked for Calvin Klein as his
Yeah.
right hand person. She
Yeah.
was dressing some of the most famous women in the world. You're going to tell me, and she lived in New York City. So she knew. Now, the other thing that interests me about this, and what is similar here is the sort of protestations, right? Meghan Markle, the same. I didn't know who Harry was.
Oh my gosh.
Royal family. We don't have royals in America. I was so unfamiliar. Okay.
Even though
So
we can go back and look at the TIG where she writes a blog post about Catherine's wedding in the TIG, and she's clearly envious. She's like, she doesn't understand the hype around Catherine's wedding. Then she has her own, and it's her second wedding needs to be televised for all of us to see. Like, that is such. But what I wanted to say, really, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, I do believe Carolyn Bessette was like, paparazzi. But Meghan was calling them as she exited the yoga studio in Toronto. And I would bet cash money that she's called them since she's moved to the United States post royal life.
I mean, Kinsey, really, how many paparazzi are rolling around the streets of Montecito? I'm gonna guess it's a lot like out where I am on the east end of Long Island. The paparazzi don't come out here. It's
Hmm.
just not the done thing. If
Yeah.
you are a Jennifer Lopez getting photographed by paparazzi on Main Street in East Hampton and then yelling at them for it, it's because you called them and told them where you were at what time so that you could yell at them and do this big performance. And I think that's when we see Meghan, my favorite Meghan, rolling around town in her $900, $1,200 camel wool Max Mara wool cashmere blend coat, ankle sweep. It sweeps the floor because she's so short. In the dead of spring or summer, that's my favorite Meghan.
Oh, my
You know,
favorite Megan is when she's hiking wearing dead Princess Diana's jewelry. Like if
could
it
she
if
just do do a Thanksgiving special, a very Marie Antoinette Netflix Thanksgiving special, shoving Diana's Cartier tank and her aquamarine ring into the guts of a chicken and pulling out the innards? Give me some television, lady.
that is hilarious. I don't think we're getting that on the Christmas special, but that makes me if we can't create that with Chat GPT, I'm disappointed in us. Okay.
Same.
I feel like that needs to be done. Did you have any other thoughts on this before I move on to the next one?
Yeah, just that. What a drag. What a drag that Tina Brown, who has a silver tongue and a silver bullet in her back pocket, is towing this line and, shilling out these cliches on CNN. None of it's the truth. It's a
Mm.
bummer.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a bummer. And if you are curious about the Kennedy family, Ask Not is my favorite. I have it on audio
Oh,
and
thank
a
you.
physical copy, but it's the best source. So don't watch the JFK thing on CNN. Don't do that, you know?
And women of America and the Western world do not date a Kennedy, let alone marry a Kennedy. Just don't do it.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Can I tell you something I'm ashamed of? I think
Mm.
I still would.
Like which one? Tell me which one. Because I can think of here, to me, Patrick Schwarzenegger
Oh,
he's like
yeah.
if JFK, John F. Kennedy, President Kennedy was like was as good looking as the media has always said he was. It's like he got all the best genes. He's like the closest looking to a JFK, which is interesting to me given that he's got those Schwarzenegger genes, which are those Kennedy jaws and the Schwarzenegger jaws. I always wondered how those kids would turn out. I thought they would
Yeah,
have like mammoth jaws.
right.
But Patrick Schwarzenegger is a good looking guy.
No, just the maid's kid has the mammoth jaws. The poor
He
maid's kid that was
does.
not invited to Patrick's wedding this weekend. I'm
Maria
sorry.
Shriver, that big Christian with her big Christian business. This poor guy, he's like 29. He'll be collecting Social Security. He'll still be on the outs.
Oh,
He's better
poor guy.
off.
Poor guy. You're right. He is better off away from the chaos.